Hello everyone, my name is CraigBennettII, and today I'm going to get into another video into crypto, and this one is into mining. Now, I did a previous video onto mining, and there's a few things I kind of left out. I forgot to mention about temperatures and how to regulate that and some other things around that, but I'm going to get a little bit more into details on picking your coin and stuff like that. So if you haven't seen the previous video, feel free to check that out. I'll leave links down below and whatnot, but as far as this goes, one big thing to note is I'm not a financial advisor nor an investment advisor, so anything you do is on your own head. So real quick, I'm using MinerStat. There's a few other programs like that, but I like MinerStat because it shows everything I need to know, and it's free unless you got more than one worker. So with that one in mind, the biggest and the first thing I want to mention, the biggest thing that's causing me to make this video is temperatures. So one big thing I forgot to mention is you can mine pretty much with anything depending on what you're going for. As I mentioned in prior video, even older stuff, you can do CPU mining, and you might make like virtually nothing, but still you can do it. But in this case, we're going for GPU mining, and it can get hot, it can get loud, and it can be bothersome. So big thing to note is the temperature. If it's between, and this is just a general rule of thumb, keep in mind each card's different, price points and whatnot, but if it's about 80 degrees to 90 degrees, then you might be creating some damage, long-term damage, because keep in mind this thing's staying on for 24/7 type of situation. It's not like a game session which might last for an hour, 2 hours, maybe 5 hours at most. You're talking about this thing staying on for all the time, for weeks on out, so it can create some actual real damage there. So if it's 80 and 90, you're probably going to create something like that, so just keep that in the back of your mind. You're shortening the lifespan of the card by a significant amount. So how do we fix that? And note, if it goes 90 above, then you really are creating some real damage in general thumb. In the general rule, a lot of people, they try to keep it 75 or below, 75 Celsius or below. And what I would like to do is keep it below 70 or below if possible. Now the problem with my particular card being NVIDIA 2080 RTX is when it hits forgot what point, it was going to 70% fan speed, and it only increased it beyond that when it hit to 90 degrees Celsius, and it increased it all the way up to 100%. So and it wasn't like even a gradual thing, it just jumped type of situation. So how do you fix that? Where one, I mean, like literally something small like that, you can fix it, and might be just enough to prevent a given problem. So I don't know about AMD because I don't really deal with AMD chips, but feel free to check out if MSI Afterburner will work with AMD stuff. But what you need to do is, if you can, get this, if you have a video, and I'll leave a link down below to that, and you need to set this up. No, it's I wouldn't play around too much with this. Just go into the settings, go to FAM, and you can play around with this and make sure that this is enabled. Keep in mind, since you're playing around with something, if you break it, it's on your head type of situation. What I got here is where the fan kicks up to 100%. I think either 70 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Celsius. So it goes up rapidly, whereas before, again, it was like around, I think it was 90, and you can see it on charts and whatnot. So note that. Also note that you can do a under voltage if you can. I don't really deal with under voltaging, because under voltaging, that means that you would actually lose your hash rate, so you won't make as much money with it. And depending on your situation, that might not be worthwhile. And also it takes a little bit of trial and error to figure out the right voltage. Under voltaging is one of those tricky things that it's just, you're going to do a little bit of research, but you have to figure out what is the proper voltage specifically for your system. One system from the next is completely different. Like literally, even I can throw in another RTX 2080 and it can have a different voltage pattern. It's just the manufacturing at that particular time. So anyways, as far as that, once you have that set up and going, make sure you have it on automated and user defined and go from there. Notes that you can do whatever as far as that goes, but that tends to be enough. If that isn't enough, then try to figure out, is the position of your computer the problem, like I said, on the floor. If it is, then get off the floor if possible. You can literally just put it on a couple books, or get it a couple inches off the floor. Like even though it's a tower PC and whatnot, just getting it a couple inches off the floor helps out a significant amount. Try to get it on top of a desk or something like that, and that should help out even more. If it's like in a cabinet, then notes that's airflow, so that can be a problem into itself. Notes if it's not clean inside, so you might want to take a look on YouTube for a video on how to clean your PC or some other factors that can play into it. Once you got that set up and going, run it and figure out things. But the big thing is like I said, I personally would try to go below 70 Celsius, but realistically anything below 75 tends to be fine. That's just a general rule of thumb. Again, check your cards and stuff like that. Now, as far as the actual finding out what to mine, this is also a tricky thing to realize. I mentioned a little bit about this in the previous video, but the big thing to note is you need to know, first things first, is what can you make the most money mining. So in this case, just throwing your stuff into a calculator, hardware wise, it'll tell you, and it'll say, oh, at this point you can make like $7 a day or whatever doing this. Fine, but can you sell it? So big thing is look up at the thing, go to coin market, whatever, and what you're trying to find is the actual where you can sell it, where is the exchanges. So in this case, I can go to whatever crypto price, and what I'm looking for is that coin market cap. And from here, if it's on here, then what you need to do is go down. First off is figure out the price points and whatnot, but go down to market. And unfortunately, like if you're in the United States or something like that, then you're going to play a little bit of a guessing game. But what I do as someone that's in the United States is just do pairs, and I can see, okay, is there any USD? No, there's not USD. So what's the next best thing? And I go down and take a look at the overall chart from there. Again, it's one of those things, Binance itself does USD, but it's not on Binance US, and Binance I can't go on unless we trick the system. So it's one of those type of things that we're kind of screwed in many ways, unless if you know of a particular one, like say for example that one where it works in your area. So you do need to note these type of things. Is it even payable where you can get rid of? You can use something like Simple Swap to swap your coins for another one, but it should be noted that it takes a significant amount of coins, and you do lose a little bit when doing that, but that also might be a decent way. Now, with that one in mind, let's say that you go down the list and find something to sell and stuff like that. Another thing you have to keep in mind is, where are you storing it? Are you storing it on your exchange, or are you going storing your own stuff? So this is fairly important, because if you're storing it on your own stuff and you're not planning to immediately, like say for example, if I was storing it on exchange, I'll plan to immediately sell it or do something with it. If I'm not doing it, if I'm going to hold it for a while, then one big thing is, once I know I can get rid of it, I need to know things like, does it have gas fees? So for example, Ethereum and a few others, even that where it said US dollar tethered or whatever, the transaction fees is so incredibly high that that also needs to be figured into it. So for example, if I go here and I sell something at $7, just flat out $7, and I try to get a USDT, well, chances are there's a couple percentages off for making that trade. Let's forget about that. The transfer from one thing to another, so for there to my wallet, well, that can actually create problems into itself, because the actual fees, in some cases, depending on your wallets, Exodus, and a few other things, you're talking about $17, and that's going to be higher than the value of what you're dealing with. So that's some other things that you want to keep in mind, is how much does it actually cost to do business? How much does it cost to transfer stuff? And I tend to stick with something like Ravencoin because of that, because it's at least on everything I use is free. Obviously, switching it from the exchange off may cost a little bit, but that's just exchange funds, not the exchange fees, not the fees for transferring normally. So that's some stuff you might want to keep in mind, is the fees and stuff that goes just transferring. This should help you figure out, is it even worthwhile? Because yes, on the front of it, yeah, you might make a little bit, $7 versus $3 or whatever. So for example, like your $3 versus $7 was a significant amount more, but the problem is the cost of actually doing business and everything else, and can I even get rid of it? It's the other thing. But with that one in mind, just a few things, notes. Anyways, hopefully this helped you out and figuring this out. And again, if you have any questions, anything else, leave that in the comment section. If you got any tips for other people, also leave that in the comment section. But leave a like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you next video. Have a great day.